Okay, so
Yes.
so in your view,
Separation from God,
that's what was due in the transaction. For Christ to fulfill it, he had to undergo the punishment, right? Which is damnation.
Yes. And okay,
So he
you know,
was.
we
So 20 minutes to get
no,
you to
he
say he was
wasn't.
damned.
No, because but here's the
So
thing,
now he
because
wasn't. Which one
Christ is Christ. Well, um, death because he is Christ, because he is not a mere man, because death cannot hold him.
But you just said a minute
Because
ago when you were arguing from Chrysostom that you think that he's arguing that he was damned. So which one is it?
well, I think a helpful reframe potentially.
Okay, Philippians what now?
Yeah. Well, Christ.
Do they do that? Do they send you those Uncle Alerts on your channel, Jay? I imagine 10 times more.
An unexpected NPC joins the debate, uninvited. Watch what happens next.
Okay. That's not Trent. This is the first time that's ever happened. Is everything all right with Trent? Can you give me a nod?
I think this dude showed up and killed him and took his place.
All right. Well, I hope that's not the case.
So this psycho showed up and killed him and took his place.
This NPC, a rather common species among the demonic kingdom, seems to be mute.
I mean, all right. So this next 20 is for Trent. So, hope he's okay.
I mean, he's brought another Lutheran debater in, which is like not the policy of how we do shit here, right?
I mean, that's typically.
I mean, if I bring in other Orthodox people to debate for me.
Can you hear me or can you
What
not?
a turn of events.
Now we can.
It speaks.
Yeah, this is the first time we've been able to hear you.
We were having a fight between a pair of AirPods and a pair of JBL. So, you know, tech is what it is.
Okay.
What I said before I realized I was muted is, may I purchase, as it were, 2 minutes from the chair just to make an important point here?
I don't.
If that is fine with the
I don't think that's how it works, unfortunately.
No, I'm not here to debate you.
Well, that's fine with the other debater.
I'm not interested in interacting.
Yeah,
with you,
so, We would need Trent back because these super chats are directed at him.
Trent's just taking a brief break. He actually undersold himself. He has 9 children.
Okay.
Because we do count pregnancies as children in Christianity. We don't consider them not to be persons. And so he actually has 9. And so he is dealing with his wife because she is dealing with the children. So he's trying to help. So I've subbed in for him.
Understood.
I am a Lutheran as well.
But
professional Lutheran.
I wouldn't be able to allow that.
I'm not interacting with this
guy.
Sorry, brother. He acts like a fed, so I'm not doing it.
I appreciate.
I think that counts.
This is the guy who calls for. He calls for.
What are you doing in my chair?
He calls.
I got him back. If you'd like Trent back, he's done dealing
like
with
6 times.
children.
So
yes, Mr. Trent, if you could rejoin us. Apologies. Apologies. It doesn't work that way, man.
I got to get his headphones working.
Yeah.
He's gonna need his butt buddy to leave because I'm only debating one dude today.
It's almost as if he couldn't believe he got found out.
All right. I do have chats for Trent whenever you're ready, Trent.
Is acting in an anti-Christian manner, and so now I would like to have 2 minutes to respond.
You're the one that calls for our
he's acting
man,
not interacting.
I gotta ask you to just hold it, man. I gotta finish this up with Trent per the agreement I have personally. I don't want to have to end this debate before I get to read these chats for Trent specifically. These people did pay to interact with him, not you.
That is fine. Well, actually, you may be surprised if you check your chats with whom they wanted to interact.
It was actually his 2 other butt buddies that wanted to see him, but not this kind of interaction.
That aside, I will get Trent back with his audio working as long as the record reflects that Jay Dyer has now run away from a debate he offered 3 times.
This is just already an agreed upon time slot, man.
Nobody cares about you and your Fed speak. You call for the death of Orthodox people like 6 times in a row. Get out of here, you fat Fed. Go back to the lemon meringue in the kitchen. Get out of here. Yeah,
maybe
one thing
take
I would
half
say
the time on these next
that's interesting is that, and we've seen this in the debate, Luther changed his positions over time, and many individual church fathers changed their positions over time. Augustine changed his positions over time. So I think that the idea that we'll start a church around a guy and that he's the guy that kind of reforms the church back to what it's supposed to be itself, I think is kind of preposterous because, I mean, do I go with early Luther, which was still very Roman Catholic, or the more mature Martin Luther that was less papal, we could say? That's the thing is, like, if we're hinging it on one dude, it's really not that different than papism. Papism is hinged on one guy in Rome. This is hinged on one guy, supposedly, but it really depends on which era you want to choose. And then actually, by the time of the later Lutheran confessions, they reject several things that Luther himself taught. So we're in an ongoing, evolving tradition, and it's not the tradition of the first 1,000 years.
Yeah, if I could respond to that just a little bit. I mean, it is true to look at the full arc of a theologian, and it would be a mistake. And fairly, it's one that I think some Lutherans and some Protestants do commit. To see Luther as so central, or even what you said there, that he started a church in this. Certainly, he didn't understand his own work that way.
I mean, isn't your church named after the dude?
Yeah. I mean, he didn't like that, of course, but you don't get to pick these things.
But
early
on,
they were
it's kind of a
evangelation. Yeah.
I mean, a sectarians can't avoid it. So there you go.
Yeah. I mean, if you probably didn't choose the name Eastern Orthodoxy, right? The preferred term is we are the Orthodox Church, and
it's Orthodox,
and of course, yeah, sure. So
we're not named
as far as
dude, so
yeah, no, it kind of is what it is as far as that goes. The description of the name is what it is. But you
sorry
said,
to interrupt. What's the ultimate authority for your church, and how do you know that? I'll let you both answer this. Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, the ultimate authority for the Orthodox Church is Christ himself, obviously, but also we would say that Christ himself appointed apostles and their successors. So when Christ said, "He who hears you hears me," and then we look at the letters to Timothy, Paul ordains successors. He lays hands on Timothy. He says, don't hastily lay hands on anyone after you, because through the laying on of hands is the transfer of the gift of the Holy Spirit. So for us, that's apostolic succession. And one example that mirrors Numbers 11, for example, in the Old Testament, of laying on of hands, and that's a historical reality. And so churches that lack that sever themselves in significant ways, like Calvinists or Lutherans, they no longer have the 4 marks of the church. And the 4 marks of the church are 1, Holy, Catholic, Apostolic, and they have to be understood in the same way that was understood at the Niceno-Constantinopolitan Creed's creation at Constantinople I. So for us, those are the authorities, the ecumenical councils, the apostolic teaching, and Christ himself.
Is there any reason you won't debate men like Corey Mahler, James White, or Peter Diamond on topic defending EO positions?
Yeah, I've stated many times. Number one, James White didn't offer a actual debate. What he said was, "I'll debate you on a separate topic from what I originally offered years earlier," and he would only do it if I was in a driving distance of his RV. So it wasn't actually a debate; it was a separate debate if I was in driving distance. I don't even know where he lives, nor do I care. Corey Mahler explicitly has said about 5 or 6 times that Orthodox people should be put to death. I'm not going to interact with people like that. And I think the Diamond Brothers are a cult, and they make legal threats all the time when people debate them. So no, these are people that are not going to ever interact with me.
Trent, great debate. Thanks, MDD, for hosting and keeping proper etiquette. Trent, would you consider attending a liturgy?
I have. I was at one time, I want to say 17 years ago, I was an Orthodox inquirer. So I have attended and appreciate many things about it. There's certainly some overlap between the older Lutheran liturgical tradition and the Eastern Rite. And like I said, I do appreciate a lot about it.
He says, TBG is questioning his entire worldview. This might be the most effective internal critique Jay has ever done. Can you confirm or deny?
It's been profitable. It's been a profitable engagement. It's given direction to what certainly my studies will be informed by. Yeah, I mean, we all have much to learn.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I would like to comment, and they say exactly what your BFF there, buddy, said in his tweets. If Orthodox were just a weird group in the corner with rights and bad aesthetics, they could be ignored. In reality, they're a cancer, a predatory corruption. They must be exterminated. I accept that you are an enemy that must be destroyed. You are insufferable. I will not regret for a second that you might be treated as enemies. You must be eradicated like vermin. I will purge all of you as demons. You're just like the Jews that fund you. So there's your pious buddy claiming that he's got Christian conduct that I don't have. This is ridiculous, dude. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it sounds like a heated argument.
No, it's not a heated argument. It's not a heated argument.
A heated
Could you imagine
engagement.
if I said this stuff? Like, how do you think the internet would treat me if I said that stuff? Would you guys just say, hey, man, it's rhetoric, heated argument? If I make a fat joke, I'm not Christ-like. But if I call for unaliving, oh, it's just rhetoric and heated argument. That's why it's just ridiculous, man. It's just ridiculous.
Well, I would, refer back to my earlier comment. Both that was a heated engagement, and I don't witness all of these things. I'm more of a casual X user, which is why I was.
I mean, these are engagements with multiple people. There's more. Yeah. These are just random multiple engagements. So
I believe you. Yeah. And again, I would say that this again would not be historically unprecedented, really, from either side of the aisle. And if you're to separate the tone from the substance, the contention is, I mean, certainly strongly articulated, that there does exist that an alien confession can subvert the faith and morals of a people within the bounds of their habitation. And that the prince, for his office, has a duty to go to the utmost, whatever that may entail.
Let me ask you this, because historically Lutherans and Calvinists killed each other over minor theological differences. Would you also affirm that it's still a princely duty to kill Calvinists or Baptists?
When you posit, hypotheticals, there is certainly a greater affinity. Lutherans are probably going to disown me over this. There's a greater affinity between Lutherans and Protestants and I want to say just the simple propositions that we would aver to be the core of the Christian faith.
Okay, but Orthodox should die, but not Baptists, even though historically Lutherans also killed Baptists.
The circumstances under which an action in extremis, literally and legally, would be undertaken, I would say would need to very, 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 extremely, very widely. I mean, outside of the realm of hypothetical. I mean, you're referring to real historical circumstances that I'm familiar with in the confessional states and the wars that that followed. 30 Years' War comes to mind, but there the Protestants were largely aligned with one another. I don't, as far as my own
straight answers, like, can you ever just say, yeah, just unalive them? It's just yapping, talking around it. Like, just answer straight, dude.
I don't think I'm doing that, but
okay. Well, 90% of the audience thinks that you are doing that, so you can think that, but you didn't convince the audience that you're not doing that.
Oh, well, I guess I failed on that. But I don't believe that in freedom of religion, ultimately, that pluralism is godly. And I believe that when Orthodox magistrates, Roman Catholic magistrates undertook what they were constrained by their consciences to do on behalf of their people. I disagree strongly. I think they were wrong. But I don't doubt that they had the full conviction of Christian zeal in doing what they did. You know,
But you're calling the Baptist Christians and these other Christians. Are you only referring to Lutherans, or are the Baptists also subverters?
Well, I mean, as far as the public, you know, doctrinal position of certain things of you know, the Orthodox versus the Baptist, I mean, a magistrate certainly is going to differentiate between what is the more credible and real threat to peace and orthodoxy in his realm.
Okay,
All
so
right,
you're
Jay,
the Prince.
Jay,
Prince Trent.
this got to be the
Prince Trent going to kill the Baptist?
last
too?
question here, and then we're going to move on.
Is Prince Trent going to kill the Baptists or just the Orthodox?
Prince Trent must deliberate the matter at length in his mind and seek the wisdom of many counselors who would not undertake such a decision lightly.